Billy Bays here, and I wanted to talk about a little bit of news that came out of Michigan this weekend. So, if you didn't know, this weekend was MuskeCon, and it was also the Midwest Mythic Meetup. On Friday, they had that, and they had like a little, get together, food. The Four Horsemen were there, talk about Mythic Legions, Legions in general, toys, stuff like that. Just see people you haven't seen potentially up to a year, and just a good time. Well, during that, not only did they have an awesome cake for Jim, they had where they dropped a little bit more info on what the 4K stretch goal for Beyithirr will be. If you're not familiar, Beyithirr has where it funded. Most recently, it hit 2,000 orders, and then now it's over. I think it's like 2073 now. And it's going into production. Sir Benegar is going into production. The knight with the dragon knight for Beyithirr has where it's got a unique helmet, and then it has unique shoulder pauldrons that'll only be used in this campaign. Going forward after this campaign, they will not be used again. They will be retired. You will not see these again. After that, that's the 2,000 goal right there. 2,500, we get the soft goods and accessories for Sir Benegar, lance, sword, uh, extra bracers. He has where he comes with the heroic bracers now, and then also a couple extra hands for that to hold his lance better instead of just being where it's the regular lateral hinges as the vertical hinges now on those. So you can swap those out and be able to do that. The 3,000 unlock for Beyithirr is the Ashen Skeleton. The 3,500 is the extra accessories for the Ashen Skeleton. And the 4,000 is a mystery since they shifted everything down by 500 and it really kept the campaign going in that middle lull that we usually have for, Kickstarters and crowdfunds like that. Is usually a middle lull. This had where it definitely bumped up those numbers and got it to where it needed to be, put in production. But I digress. At the meetup, it was elaborated on what that 4,000 unlock will be. It was said that it will be called Beyithirr's Fury. Now, if you go and you watch Legion's Ladies, Tonya had where she did an interview with Jeremy Gerard. It's a great two-person sit down. Uh, Tonya, you do have the best audio. I'm just saying. I appreciate that. There was other people at the Mythic Meetup who also, live stream. I commend them just to share. Let everybody who couldn't make it get in there. Tonya had where she brought the quality audio equipment. Good on you. Send me that link. But go watch that video. It's about 30 minutes. Has a whole bunch of content about the campaign going into it and stuff like that. But Jeremy Gerard said Beyithirr's Fury will be a soldier type character. Um, and honestly, they started working on it about 2 days ago. Was the joke, but in all seriousness, it's when they started like getting it together because campaign's kind of going here. This is a shift. They had to they got stuff going, but it's a soldier type character. Sir Benegar's shoulder pauldrons, those one with the dragon wings on there and stuff, are going to be reused in this character. So it's not outside the campaign, it's inside the campaign. So that's a little tricky verbiage there. Fun stuff, a little twist. You weren't expecting it. The soldier type character would be under Beyithirr's command. So this is a group, this is a unit, it's part of that. So Beyithirr's Fury is kind of like the Screaming Eagles or the Howling Commandos. It really is a group, but this will be a single character right here. We will get to see this character as it gets closer to unlocking. Didn't say the exact number, but I imagine once the Ashen Skeleton is unlocked is when Beyithirr's Fury will be, shown and introduced. Because what's the point of showing it if it was never a possibility? So as long as those numbers keep going up, as we get closer, I think we got was it like 15, 14 days left here. Campaign ends on April 6th at 11 p.m. So we're gonna get there. I'm betting we get to see what this is, because also, I mean, like, Vinegar being moved down had where it bumped the campaign numbers up. Seeing what that is will probably also bump those numbers up. So that's what's going on there with the 4K unlock. Now, the other bit of news that came out of MuskeCon that was shared by my friend Curtis Ackerman on his live there. If you have where you watch the Legendaries on Friday nights, they were without him. And he had where he popped in. He let us know what was going on. He was like, hey, he also reported on Beyithir's Fury a little bit. Uh, but also, the Legendary Barbarian. Legendary Barbarian was released and brought into the world and shown to everybody at Zolocon. People went nuts on it. People had where they were buying them as much as they could. There was limit, one per person per trip through the line at Zolocon. That's how it was at Zolocon. If you went through the line, you could get one. If you went back through the line, you could get one. If you went through the line 30 times, you could get 30 of them. I digress. Now, what's going on with that? At MuskeCon, it was limited to one per person per day. MuskeCon was only 1 day, so it is what it is, but it is one per person per day. MuskeCon opened up at 10 a.m. They were sold out by 11. That's what happened with that. So the con definitely had where it was bustling and hustling, and I believe also, no offense to anybody, but everybody talking about how this thing's selling for $200 plus has where it probably got some bigger eyes on there. Not only just to have where you want to add it to your collection is like, oh man, this figure's selling for like $200. It's got to be good. There's definitely plenty of that, and that's fantastic. That's wonderful. Whatever brings people into a line and gets them to try something new, that's wonderful. I 100% approve that. But then it also is people who are buying for their friends, which again, I'm super cool with that. I do that too. Um, if I'm able to pick up something for one of my friends who aren't there, you know, cool beans, as long as it's allowed. The third thing is people scalping the shit out of that. Now, what I'm expecting, it hasn't been said yet, but what I'm expecting since this happened at MuskeCon, again, they're good on, hey, I saw you in this line again, get out kind of thing. Or it's like, I can't sell you a second one, because they they are very good about that. So I don't think anything dumb happened there. It definitely had wherever how many they had were sold to that many different people. I think at Toylanta they may institute the same thing, because the point of con exclusives is to bring foot traffic in, and it's a treat for those people who actually make that trip. Yes, other people want them, hey, you can't make it, or some kind of thing just hold you back from it. Completely understand, but they're really for people who come there. So it's that incentive. But again, I'm all for helping out a friend if you can. But I think they're going to have where they limit it at Toylanta too. Toylanta has where it's not just 1 day, but I imagine it will have where it is one per person per day at Toylanta as well. So brace yourself if you have where you're going there to try to pick some up from other people. Just take it with a grain of salt. You may not be able to pick up more than one per day. Now, what's going on with the Legendary Barbarian being resold? Um, right now with that, it's kind of like it's a bit ridiculous, because again, this will be available at every convention that Four Horsemen go to. So hopefully, as the year goes on, because again, we're only in March. I think maybe after Legions Con or before Legions Con or around that time, They'll have where they do the online sale. That's my guess. End of the year, probably after Legions Con, depending on what's going on with like any kind of pre-orders and stuff. It'll be available, but people have where they saw where someone sold it for a high price. And there are people who have where they are willing to pay it. And I'm not knocking the people who are willing to pay it, because you know what? Sometimes you cannot get to a convention. Sometimes you are out of the country those conventions are in, and you're willing to pay it because you have adult money and you can spend it the way you want to. Don't let anyone stop you. Just make sure you don't, go into debt and have where you put yourself in a position where you're out on the streets. Another 2 cents there. But people are buying it for it. Now, how bad is that though? Ooh, let's take a look. So right now on eBay, searching Legendary Barbarian Mythic Legions, there are 5 active listings. These are the done by newly listed, so as you know, newest to oldest. One was listed on the 19th. That's before MuskeCon entirely. That's from like Zolocon. Someone probably had extra stuff like that. But then we have from the 22nd, from 8 almost 9 a.m., which maybe that's my time. So 9 a.m. my time is 10 a.m. their time. So that's really close right there. That one's kind of iffy, but these two are definitely from after the con. This is like 6:12 and 6:30 a.m. 200, 185. They went there to resell it. It's only 2. It's not too bad. I mean, the prices are obviously horrible. It's 4 times the price. These things are only supposed to be $50. 4 times the price. But again, they bought it. They can sell it, stuff like that. But again, like you got one. So these people bought these purposely to sell them. Now, what's the sold listings looking like? Because this is only 5 active listings. How many have these sold so far on eBay? Well, there's 61 sold listings on here. Most recently sold to the oldest, 185, 200, 170, 167, 159, 200, 189, 160. It goes on and further on because it's 61 listings, and I think the lowest one out of all these is like $100, double price. It's kind of crazy. I hope the ones that sold for 100 went to people who had where they could not make it, or they have where they live out of country where they cannot get to these cons, and it was just where they're like, hey, I want to experience this figure now, because you have every right to 100%. But I hope they got the $100 ones and didn't have where they had to go for the $200 one, because now, I mean, everyone knows people are buying these for like 200. Let's see, this is like 20. That was the day, 185. Arkham Knight collectibles, $185 today. Yesterday, $200. Uh, it's it's crazy. If I added up all these numbers, it would buy so many of these damn figures for $50 a piece. It's ridiculous, and it's kind of disheartening. And that's why I think come Toylanta, and probably going forward with every con, it'll have where it's going to be limited to 1 per person per day, because this is egregious for something that's supposed to be an incentive. It's a fun thing to come to the con. Because if they don't, they're going to have where they have people go through the line 15, 20, 30 times to buy these figures to try to resell them. Or they have where they're buying them for friends who have where, well, I say quotey friends. It could be people who just haven't talked to you in a year who are like, hey, man, can I get that for you? Can you get that for me? Because a lot of people do that, But there's also a lot of people who want to help people. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But tell me what you think down in the comments below. Are you pro limiting of exclusives like this? Because I know, there's the ATL 25 that'll be at Toylanta. That one's like an actual one, this is the con it will be at exclusive, and then later in the year, probably, like it's usually after December, um, or December after December, where they do like the standard release of stuff, like the Zolocon Headhunter will have a standard release, ATL 25 will have a standard release, Legendary Barbarian will have its actual online release. It'll it'll happen, but oof, what do you think about people trying to get more of these for whatever reason? Do you think it should just be one per person? Should it be like two per person? What's your opinions on that? Also, what's your opinions on Beyithir's Fury? How do you feel about that? How do you think that will have where it pushes these numbers going on? Just the tease of another like a night of Beyithir there, another one to just kind of go with your Sir Benegar, because we're getting Beyithir, we're getting Sir Benegar basic right now. We got to hit that 2,500 to get the full soft goods. But do you think that will have where it pushes the campaign? But please like, share, subscribe. Again, leave a comment down below. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you so much. I will see you in the next video. Later, guys.